We're here today with George Baldwin of Charlevoix, Michigan, who's going to tell us his experiences in World War II and Korea. George, when did you enlist, or were you drafted?
I enlisted. August 12, 1942 in Fort Wayne, Detroit. And I was, the same day I enlisted, I was shipped to Battle Creek. Kellogg had a big Army Army base there. And I stayed there for processing, you know, tests and so forth. And I enlisted in the Air Force, Army Air Force at that time. And after about 2 weeks it was up, I was shipped to Buckley Field in Denver, Colorado. And I went through 9 weeks of armored training on machine guns and bomb sites and turrets and things like that for airplanes.
Okay.
And when I graduated from that, which I did, I was shipped to Denver, Colorado. And no, that's where I went to school. Then after I shipped there, I was shipped to Will Rogers Field, Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And I joined the 46th Bomb Group, which was a, actually it was a pursuit group, but they had just switched to a bomb group. And they had been in Panama running submarine patrol down there. And had additional training there, and at that time they were making, they were splitting the 46 bomb group up into, I think it was 6 different bomb groups, and I was assigned to the the 416th bomb group, the 670 bomb squadron, for training, and we trained every day. We ran what they called submarine patrols over the Gulf of Mexico, and after when they broke up the unit, the 46th bomb group, I was assigned to that, and they moved us to Lake Charles, Louisiana, which was down on the Gulf. And I stayed there for a period of time, just training, doing nothing but sending airplanes up and bringing them back and bombing and so forth.
What was your specific job?
I was an aircraft armor.
And what does that mean?
Well, you took care of the machine guns, and if the plane had turrets, you took care of the turrets, and if the plane had a bomb bay for bombs, you loaded the bombs in the bomb bay, and it was sort of a drudgery work, but that's what the training was. About that period of time, the Fathers of Bee in Washington came up with a unit they call the ASTP, Army Specialized Training Corps. And I was selected for that, and I was sent to El Paso, Texas College of Mines, where I went through 2 courses of basic engineering. And at that time, the war wasn't going quite the way things wanted, and they decided to close that program down and transfer everybody to the ground forces. And they did that. They did that. And I ended up with the 12th Armored Division in Abilene, Texas, and I stayed with them until we went overseas. And I can't remember the day we went overseas, but I went over on the Empress of Australia, which was a German boat that they had captured in World War I and converted it to a troop transport, and it was run by the Brits.
Would that have been in 1943 when you went overseas?
Yeah, 43.
Okay.
And I landed in England, and they sent us to Tidworth Barracks. Tidworth Barracks is quite famous over there, but that's where all of the armored divisions that went through Europe trained before they went from England to France. And it's still in operation today. It's a real old army barracks.
Do you remember much about what it was like to be in England?
Well, it seemed like it rained all the time.
It did.
And it was basically you were always cold. The barracks were brick and mortar, and they had a pot-belly stove, about that big around in a room like this, and that was your heat. Only trouble was there wasn't any fuel to put in there, and they wouldn't let you cut any trees down. You had to scrounge, you know. So, but everybody was doing the same thing, you know. So, but we stayed there until, like I said, went to France. We were to. I have a picture of that. They crossed the English Channel on a LCT, a landing craft tank. There were a whole 4 medium tanks, or well, we had 40,000 pounds of 105 shells when we went across.
And did you do this before D-Day or after D-Day?
This is after. No, this is after D-Day.
Yeah.
I didn't land until. Well, we were supposed to sail right from the United States to Le Havre, but the war wasn't going quite that well, and they hadn't taken Le Havre, so that's why we went to Tidworth Barracks. Okay. And I'd say it was just before Thanksgiving, because when we landed on the shore, we pulled on shore, there was a PT boat there, and those guys gave us rations, and we got a turkey.
You did?
Yeah, we got a turkey. And,
how did you cook it?
Well, that was the problem. Nobody knew how to cook it. But and it was frozen because they had freezers on their boats, so we didn't have freezers. And I think we kept it for about 2 weeks before we ate it. It still tasted pretty good, though.
Well, I'll bet.
But it was the same thing there. France was a mud hole. It was wet. We were still going through the hedgerows, and it was very, very slow, tedious work. And when we finally broke out, why I only had, from the time we landed on the shore until the war was over, I had 3 meals with my company.
Wow.
We were going all the time. I was in a tank recovery vehicle, and they would give us coordinates, and you go pick up a tank or pick up a truck or pick up a vehicle, and you'd take it back to a repair shop, and they'd give you another one, and they'd tell you where to take that one.
Okay.
But one of the good things about it was we could draw pay any place that they had a paymaster. And we could also draw rations any place.
Okay.
And you soon learn that the rear echelon eats better than anybody else. So every time we went by a hospital, even if we had to wait, 2 or 3 hours, we'd wait and eat with them because they had good food.
Yeah. We had some pictures there. You want to show us those pictures and
Well, let's see.
tell us about those?
This is a little later on, I guess. During our course over there, we were I can't remember the time, but it was there was snow and it was blowing and it was terrible. And the battalion sent a runner out, and they said that the Germans had come up with a new weapon, and they wanted everybody out manning their guns. And we had multiple 50s on the back end of the transporters, and so we get out there and you stand there and you can't see your hand in front of your face, and they say these airplanes are so fast they're by you before you can see them. I said, what are we doing here? So we all went back inside, and it turned out that they were talking about the ME 260. Now, this is an awful small picture. That's
Okay, let's just show it to me.
Yeah, just hold it up and turn it around and point it at the camera, and he'll move in on that.
it was a real good airplane. It's the first jet airplane, but Hitler didn't want a fighter airplane. He wanted the jet to be a bomber, and that was one of the bad mistakes. If he would have gone the other route, and they would have produced enough of them, they'd have shot us right out of the sky.
So what was the name of that plane again?
It's an ME 260.
ME 260.
Yeah.
And it was a jet engine?
It's the first jet engine.
Okay.
And I was with my division when we were there. We were assigned to the first Armory, the first French, the 7th, and the 9th, and the 3rd Armies at one time or another. And we were from the Trier to the Rhine, we were a Patton's Mystery Division. We went, we took 178,000 prisoners in that period of time when we were with him. We never had a bit of publicity because he called us the Mystery Division. And that always sort of bothered everybody. But
what was his reason, do you know?
No. He didn't have to have a reason.
He just wanted the glory for himself, maybe.
As we kept going, we shifted and we were attached to the French, and that took us down south. And the further south we got, down in Bavaria and Austria, why the less the war was over down there first. I mean, before it was over up north, they didn't have the diehards, I guess you might say. But we were, that's a tie, you might say, whether the 101 got into Berchtesgaden first or we did. But they got all the publicity.
Yeah.
But we got all the booze.
You got all the booze, you did, eh?
So,
Oh, I remember seeing that in Band of Brothers. They open up this cabinet, so that was you.
well, as you go through there, the Germans, there was caves all over, and they would hide the pictures and artifacts and the booze. And the way things worked, the first outfit that was through there, they took anything they wanted before they turned it over to their next higher headquarters. So, and the higher the headquarters, then the more rules and regulations. So you want to get everything you can
Beforehand.
But one thing we did, we had a young officer by the name of Smith, and he was a pretty good scrounger. Down at Berchtesgaden, there was a portable dental facility, about 8 great big trucks, and it had all the modern equipment in there. And he found about that, didn't tell anybody except us. So we had a couple of pretty big bruisers and dressed them up as MPs, and we went down there and repossessed them. And we had them, for the rest of the war. And then the doctors really liked it because it had all the modern equipment at that time, and all operated by diesels, and diesel engines. So it was pretty good. Huh. We went to also Anheuser-Busch. I'm sure you heard of them. Well, they have a great big castle over their home, and the Navy had taken it over and made a weather station out of it. And during they were moving fast, moving out of there. So somebody told us about it. We went down there, and they had a big diesel generator that would run enough power for the town of Charlevoix. And a tank transporter is a very large vehicle. It's a semi, and the tractor weighs 25 tons, wow, all by itself. And the trailer weighed 15 tons, all by itself, empty. Jeez. But we had that, and we had, I think, 14 ton wreckers. We went down there and lifted everything up, put it on our flatbeds, and took it off.
And where did you take it to?
Well, as you go through towns, you set up like bases, supply bases.
Okay.
And the power over there was 220 volts, and our power was everything we had designed, 110. So we just cut the wires and hook into theirs, and then when we moved out, we took it with us.
Ah, okay. So it was your portable energy supply.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I guess.
And it helped, in France, as you came through France, they had a bunch of CPAs or mathematicians that followed right behind the army, and if you ran over a chicken or a cow or a rake or anything, they billed Uncle Sam for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we paid for everything.
Jeez.
But in Germany, once you get across to Germany, anything was fair game. But you pull into a town, you're going to stay all night. You give them half hour to get out.
Okay.
The less time you give them, the less they take with them. And then we just leave. We'd live in their house while we were there.
Yeah.
Landsberg was one of the not a POW camp. It was a DP camp where they were cremating the Jews and their political enemies, and we weren't. My people were. We weren't aware that anything like this was going on. And you come to this town and you see these people that they're just laying there like cordwood on the street. No skin and bones. Some of them are alive. The ovens are still on, and we took 3 of those different towns, and it's the smell in itself is really bad.
Oh, I can imagine.
And once I think they found out what was going on, why they really looked for them more than they did before, and it was a nightmare. I mean, they starved them, and when they left, they ran because the guard in there. If you caught them, you just shoot them.
Yeah.
It went. We had quite a few instances like that. And another thing I didn't say that, but there was jets. There was jets they made. They had what they called the Autobahn over there, and they were they were good roads, really good roads. They didn't have any bridges. We'd only knocked them out. But I mean, the roads were good. Well, they had made the roads runways, and that's where they had the jets back in the trees and caves and so forth, and they'd run out and they'd take off from the Autobahn. Okay. And they were a fast airplane, and it was something to see. We captured, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them, and of course, our division had people, with intelligence moving with us, and as soon as they catch something like that, they'd ship it back home. I mean, they'd get that and find out why we didn't have it.
Right.
And it was really enlightening, you might say. But we went to, where did I go? Went up north to Amsterdam. We got as far north as Amsterdam and as far south as the Italian border. I never got into Italy. I mean, we joined the 7th Army coming up from Italy, but our division never got into fighting in Italy. We ended up in Berchtesgaden.
Okay.
Did you actually have some fighting that you...
Pardon me?
Did you have fighting? Were you involved in any combat during this time when you were taking these cities? What was your role? What did you do?
Was I involved in it?
Yeah.
Well, I know people shot at me, and we had the cab on the M25 was armor plate. It was a 1-inch armor plate, and I was never wounded, but
were you taking care of the munitions all this time? Taking care of the bombs?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, you were on the move all the time.
Okay.
And
so was your role to kind of keep the people at the front supplied with munitions?
With more equipment than munitions.
Okay.
We did haul, at one period of time we hauled, I think it was 80,000 pounds of 105s. We had 40,000 coming across the channel and we got rid of them. But there's another thing, an overlay on a map. You have a big map, and they just give you a little tiny overlay, and that was where you were to go. And if you went off your overlay, you were in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, because they didn't tell us where we were going or what we were doing. We were sort of, he might say, they wanted you to be a robot. But, yeah, we were shot at. Yeah. Especially when we were with the French. The first French army was composed first Free French Army. It was mainly composed of Moroccans, and they lived like a bunch of gypsies. All the equipment they had was American equipment, and they were all dressed in our uniforms, and they looked like us, except most of them were swarthy. But they had their wives, their girlfriends, their camp followers. They were like a band of locusts. When they would go through an area, there wasn't anything left. And they didn't believe in capturing. They believed in killing. And we weren't with them too long. We were with them up until a place called Colmar. And we left them there, and then we went to Trier.
So they stayed in France then?
Well, they were supposedly under Eisenhower, so were we.
Okay.
But they were under de Gaulle. What de Gaulle told them could be different than what Eisenhower told them, and they went their own way.
Okay.
And it was quite a battle, but you didn't leave anything out when you were with them. You guarded everything because it would be gone. It just disappear.
You have a map there. You want to show us the map of With that, can you grab that map? Let me help.
Whoop.
There we go. Put that right there.
Well, this is a map of basically where I went with the 12th Army Division. This is England over here, and we went down in here, and where these, I don't know if you can see that or not.
These lines right here.
Yeah.
Into Germany.
Yeah, Germany, and we ended up down in here at Birch's Gardens.
Okay.
And the reason we was over down there because the troops just got tired of fighting and they gave up. But we started back. I was in Paris, well, Fontainebleau, which was a town, summer town right outside of Paris, Napoleon's summer place. We were there for 32 days, and they were revamping our machines to hail. They have a new Pershing tank, and they were revamping a handful of Pershing tank, and we were going to be shipped to Japan. And during the course of the rebuilding and getting ready to go to Japan, they dropped the atomic bombs, and I didn't go to Japan.
Well, that was a good thing.
I didn't want to go to Japan. Nobody wanted to go to Japan, but we went to right after the war was over. There was a Potsdam conference. Remember the big trial? Well, we had they gave our battalion, my battalion, I had 9 transporters. They gave us 9 new Pershing tanks, and we transferred them to Potsdam to be like a show of force. Look at the stuff we got.
Okay.
And of course, it didn't tell you much on the way in either. Going down the road, all of a sudden there'd be 100 Russians coming rushing out of the woods. Stop you. They wanted to buy your watch. They wanted to buy soap. They wanted to buy anything you had.
Huh.
And of course, you didn't find out, but they had printing press from Uncle Sam, and they were just running it 24 hours a day. But Uncle Sam, on his printing press, he was keeping track of it, and they didn't keep track of it. And they'd pay $300 or $400 for a Mickey Mouse watch. I did come back from Berlin with a barracks bag full of marks.
You did?
Yes, I did. I came back. But it was like play money.
Yeah.
You